Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're taking a closer look at a really powerful system for speeding up learning and development. It seems especially relevant for folks in construction, the trades. We're exploring the KASH training and mentoring program, and our insights are coming straight from Anthony Procaccini, the founder of Inexorable.
Yeah, and our goal here, our mission for this deep dive, is really to unpack how this KASH system works, how it helps people and whole companies actually move from just focusing on the technical stuff,
Right.
what are the job, to thinking more tactically, which is more about how you lead, how you manage people, how you get them engaged.
Yeah.
And that shift, believe me, is absolutely crucial today for businesses and, well, everyone working in them.
Right. Now, KASH, it's an acronym, stands for Knowledge, Attitude, Skills, and Habits. KASH. Simple enough, but Anthony Procaccini throws a bit of a curveball right away. He says, while KASH is easy to remember, the real starting point, the order that actually works, is attitude first. So attitude, then knowledge, skills, habits. Maybe not as catchy, but apparently more effective.
Exactly. It highlights that initial mindset. But what's clear, whichever order you think about, is that KASH needs a truly collaborative approach. It requires real commitment, from both sides, the person learning and the person teaching or mentoring.
Okay, so let's start there then. At that foundation Anthony points to, the one that kicks everything off, even if it's not the K, let's talk attitude.
Right. It all begins with attitude. Procaccini really hammers this home. Everything starts with attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Jimmy Johnson, the football coach, his famous quote, performance equals positive attitude plus effort. And the interesting thing is, while effort can be, tricky to control sometimes, attitude is something we can actively work on, but it's so often missed, isn't it? In management training, it's usually all about the technical parts of the job, not the tactical side of managing people.
So when we say attitude here, we mean like how someone shows up, their mindset, their level of professionalism, whether they're really bought in. Precisely. It's that showing up aspect. And for younger folks entering the workforce, they often need help developing not just the technical know-how, but also these soft skills. In construction, a good attitude might look like showing respect for your coworkers, other trades on site, taking real pride in the quality of your work. It's about commitment to getting things done right on time, being willing to learn, being resilient when things get tough, bad weather, high pressure, you name it, and importantly, being able to communicate clearly even when things are stressful.
Got it. So it's definitely more than just being cheerful, it's active. How can a leader then, actually build that positive attitude on a team, not just hope for it?
Well, leaders have to walk the talk, definitely. Attitudes are incredibly contagious, for better or worse. Practically, you could do things like encourage peer shout-outs when someone shows a great attitude, have real conversations about why the work is important, connected to the bigger picture, legacy, safety, quality. And sometimes you need to share real stories, maybe anonymized, about how a bad attitude actually hurt a project or the team dynamic.
Okay, so attitude sets the stage. Once that's in a better place, what's next in this KASH journey? It feels like it's about making sure information actually lands, which brings us to knowledge.
Exactly, knowledge. And the key here is how KASH defines it. Information understood, not just delivered, but actually grasped. Anthony points out, and I think he's spot on, that most companies get knowledge transfer wrong. They hand over a manual, maybe do a quick orientation, but there's very little checking to see if the new person actually understands it. They equate giving information with teaching.
Yeah, that rings true. In the trades, knowledge usually means the technical bits, right? Reading blueprints, knowing the codes, safety rules, project schedules, how to use the tools, the company procedures, all that. Essential stuff.
Totally essential, no question. But the piece that's often missing is the tactical knowledge. Like, how do you actually manage people effectively? How do you train someone well? How do you inspire the crew you've got today, which might span multiple generations? When that tactical piece is missing, it often leads to, frustration on both sides. High turnover. Not a great experience.
And Anthony really pushes construction companies, doesn't he, to rethink how they pass knowledge to younger workers. He basically says the old ways won't cut it anymore. That's quite direct.
It is direct, but it's necessary. And this brings up that mutual commitment again. For knowledge to stick, the teacher, the mentor, has to be committed to ensuring understanding, not just talking at the student. And just as importantly, the student needs to feel safe enough to say, hang on, I don't get it, or I don't know. Without that vulnerability, you don't get real learning.
Okay, makes sense. So knowledge understood, not just received. Then comes the part where you actually have to do something with it. Let's talk skills.
Right? Skills, which KASH defines simply as information in action. putting that understood knowledge to work. And honestly, this can be a really tough stage for the learner because you're trying something new, maybe for the first time, and there's a real risk you might mess up.
You might fail. You know that saying, fail just means first attempt in learning. It's very relevant here.
Right, which puts the pressure back on the manager or the trainer. They have to create a space where failing isn't just tolerated, it's almost expected. That's part of the process. How do you do that on a busy job site? Yeah, that's the challenge. But you can do it. Maybe start with low-stakes environments, smaller tasks, maybe non-critical ones where there's more time for supervision, or working on a mock-up first, off-site, or even in a training center or the warehouse. It's also about explicitly giving permission. Telling people, look, it's okay to make mistakes while you're learning this. You won't be crucified or fired for trying. Seeing failure as data, as a learning opportunity, changes the whole dynamic.
Yeah.
And again, the trainer here is really relying on the trainee being honest when they're stuck. Saying, I don't understand is crucial.
So what kind of skills are we talking about in construction beyond just, say, hammering a nail, both the hands-on stuff and the tactical side?
Sure. Technical skills, obviously, like advanced framing, tricky roofing details, getting a perfect concrete finish, interpreting complex plans, absolutely vital. But the KASH framework also really emphasizes those tactical skills. Things like leading effective morning huddle, solving unexpected problems on the fly, managing time and sequencing across multiple crews, resolving conflicts between subs. Those are critical skills too.
Definitely. So to build those skills effectively, what are some practical things companies using KASH actually do?
Well, structured on-the-job training with a good mentor is huge. Maybe providing short how-to videos they can watch right before they try a task. Setting aside real quality time one-on-one for review and feedback with that coach or manager. Shadowing programs can be great, following an experienced person for a day. And using documented skill checklists so both the trainee and the trainer know what's expected and where they are in the process.
Okay, so for skills, the teacher creates the safe space to try and fail, and the student has to be willing to take that risk. Which leads us, finally, to making it stick. Turning those skills into consistent, reliable actions. The last letter, habits.
Exactly. Habits, or skills over time. These are the repeatable behaviors that really define consistency and reliability on the job. But here's the caution. Habits can be good or bad. If someone learns a skill poorly or inconsistently, and they don't get good feedback or support, well, those shaky skills can easily become ingrained bad habits. And those are much harder to fix later.
And Anthony points to feedback as the key thing here, right? The difference between good and bad habits forming. He talks about routine inspection and actionable feedback. It sounds like a lot of companies drop the ball here. They assume once someone can do it, they'll keep doing it right.
That's a huge failure point. Assuming self-sufficiency too soon, he stresses that sustainment training is essential. It's not just about teaching the skill once, it's about reinforcing it, refining it, ensuring it becomes a positive habit. And when we talk habits, people often think of, being on time, staying organized, filling out paperwork. Important, yes. But KASH also includes often overlooked habits like proactive communication, how you interact with clients or suppliers, even developing good business sense about the project. Good habits don't just make the individual better. They lift the whole team, impact profitability, and honestly, they help keep good people around longer.
So for leaders listening, what's the single biggest lever they can pull to make sure good habits take root? You mentioned the why earlier.
Yes, explaining the why is absolutely critical for habit formation. Why do we do safety checks this way? Why is documenting progress so important even when you're busy? Why does how you treat the materials or interact with the client reflect on our company culture? Connecting the habit to the bigger purpose, the reason behind it, that fosters accountability. It's not just a rule, it's part of doing the job well, professionally. On a construction site, good habits might be showing up 5 minutes early, ready to go, keeping your tools clean and organized, doing daily equipment checks every time, documenting progress consistently, reporting hazards immediately no matter how small.
Okay, and practically, how do you reinforce those? Checklists, rewards.
All of the above can work. Maybe integrate habit checklists into the daily huddle. Help people set personal goals for building specific habits, maybe with small incentives. Have a clear, fair, and consistently applied consequences for breaking critical habits, especially safety ones like, say, not tying off. And maybe the most powerful thing, leaders and experienced workers modeling those good habits constantly, day in, day out. Actions speak louder, right?
Yeah.
So the final commitments here for habits. The teacher, the leader, must provide regular, unbiased, actionable feedback. And the student, the employee, has to be willing to have their work looked at and be open to receiving that feedback. even if it's corrective.
So when you put it all together, this KASH system, it really feels like a more complete, a more human way to think about development. It's truly collaborative, and it really pushes managers, trainers, leaders to move beyond just the technical side of things and embrace that tactical role, managing, coaching, inspiring people, and helping their teams make that same shift.
Absolutely. And when that happens, you empower people not just to perform better technically, but to be more engaged, more fulfilled in what they do, which in the end is a huge benefit for them personally and, of course, for the entire organization. It really is a win-win situation when you get it right.
So as you're listening, maybe take a moment to reflect on your own work, your own interactions. Where could focusing more on the why behind a task make a difference? Or where could creating more of a safe space to fail help someone on your team turn a shaky skill into a solid one? Or perhaps, where could more consistent, truly actionable feedback help lock in a beneficial habit? Just think, what's one small adjustment inspired by this idea of attitude, knowledge, skills, and habits that you could try this week to maybe foster a better attitude or deeper understanding in yourself or someone you work with?